Hello, I'm Isaac Atima, a revivalist and a business coach. Okay, I'm talking about problems in marketing, right? And I want to talk about a very serious problem, and that is lack of product research. So it's important you do an effective research before launching out a product, and that's what we want to call feasibility studies. Very important. Depending on the scale, even at whatever scale of your business, right, you could do a level of feasibility. So sometimes I remember a friend of mine just asked me to ask 5 friends about the idea of a certain product, and it helped a great deal. I was like, oh, I thought I had to carry all the papers and go street by street and do a large cumbersome feasibility studies. But no, reaching out to certain friends, reaching out to certain close people, family members could give you an idea of what the market is, especially when it's a small scale business. Okay, so lack of research, you need to know a few things. Number one, is this product needed? Is it needed? That's the first thing you want to know, right? Secondly, is it needed in a larger quantity? So if it's not needed, why then go into the business? Okay, if it's not needed, do people really want to part their goods with it? Is it among the hierarchy of needs of man? Okay, is it something that is important, that is valuable to people, that will appreciate and all of that? Is there a growing market for it? So is it something that is on its way out, or is something that is just coming in and is really going to make waves? For instance, now solar panel is just coming in and is really going to wave, is here to stay, right? I believe. But Nitel telephone landline phones they are already out of the market. Even some of the professional tools that are used in business, right? Do you have some softwares? Do you have the most recent softwares for that kind of product? Okay, some of us will need to settle down. Don't think you cannot learn those softwares. The softwares that are needed for your product. Probably you are an architect or you are a surveyor or something. There are some softwares you could just learn. You'll be surprised if you have a good teacher, 10,000 naira, 1 month, they just sort that out and you know it for the rest of your life. So is it in a growing market? Is it relevant? Okay. Then the next thing you want to think about, is it at a price that people can pay? What price can the market pay for it? You need to consider that into your costing and into your feasibility studies, so that you are very clear that you have done your product research. Be very sure about that, especially when it comes to the right audience that you're talking to. Okay. So the next problem I would want to talk about is about costing, lack of proper pricing, lack of proper pricing. So sometimes you have a very good product, in fact, you have a thriving market, and you have a wrong pricing strategy. Okay, I'll still talk about pricing strategy in the future, but then, so if you don't know how to go about your pricing, you may not do well in the marketplace. So you could either underprice or overprice. Now, many times people always think about overpricing, that you put it so high, people are not going to buy. But they don't know that also in pricing strategy, there's the problem of underpricing. Some of us are pricing too low, and eventually, when you calculate your revenue and your profit, you find out that you are actually at a loss, or you are not even making the kind of, it will take you ages to make like a fortune, or to make something that is noteworthy in that enterprise. So you really need to know how to price, and there are about 4 that you have to look into when you are pricing. Number one, we already know it, the cost of production. The cost of production. So calculate your materials, the raw materials, the transportation, the cost, the time. Some people are very meticulous in writing every detail, and I suggest that to you. Even the time, the hourly rate, if they are to pay themselves, it really sums up into a lot. So the cost of production is quite a lot. The packaging, you need to I remember somebody that did a seminar, and she calculated the cost of her production. What did she calculate? She calculated her battery. She calculated the NEPA bill that she used to charge her phone. She calculated how many videos that she downloaded, the data she used, right? Then the number of calls, the text messages that she sent, right? The emails that she sent. the amount of space and everything. She calculated to that minutest detail, right? Of course, the cost of the hall, the cost of the production materials, and every other thing. And even the mental stress and all that, she found a way to monetize it. And you would be amazed how much that really costs. That's why I'm talking about underpricing. Sometimes we just think about the raw material alone. I bought this at 50 naira and I'm selling it at 70 naira. But there are many other factors. Do you remember that you had to do a research? You had to do subscription to be able to do a research to get the right vendor in the other part of the country, right? So it is important you understand how to factor in the cost of production. Number two is industry standard. So generally, there could be association and there could be an industry. I remember a person just left my office and she wanted to do a bonanza. I think she has a target of training about 100 persons or so, and to hit that target she just felt she should reduce the price, and she was saying that her colleagues are going to fight her. So they are usually industry standards. So this is how much we train in our industry, this is how much this costs. Okay, so having a clue about that and factoring that into your pricing system is very important. It should not be too high, it should not be too low, it should be somewhere around that. Okay, next is the financial level of the target audience. This is very important. Financial level of the target audience. That's why you should know your audience very well. You should have a range. Where do they work? How much do they earn? Do they earn 50k? Do they earn 250k? Do they earn 500k? So having an idea of the financial strength gives you an idea. Generally, you don't want to price something that is more than 10% of somebody's earnings, right? For general groceries and commodities and all of that, you don't want to charge something less than 10%. Now, this is not a hard and fast rule, because there are some luxury items, or would I say there are some capital intensive items, like maybe buying a car, building a house and all of that. Somebody might be earning 300,000 naira and is already working towards building his house. So of course that house is going to cost maybe 5 million, 6 million and all of that. So it's not a hand and fast rule, but I'm just saying generally, especially when you're into services, kinds of businesses, think about within the neighborhood of 10% of what the person's earnings are. When you factor it that way, it makes it easier for the person to part with his money. So it's either of two things. If my product costs for 25k, is either I reduce it if my target audience earn 100k, so I need to bring it down to 10k, or if my supposed target audience were 100k earners, since I know that my earning is 25k, I need to advertise my product to people that have earnings of 250k, if you understand the mathematics. So it's either ways that you reduce your price or you target a higher category of people that can patronize you at that level. As simple as that. Finally is your profit, the part that we like, your profit. You need to factor in your profit, right? And you need to be intelligent about it. Don't just be about the raw materials and all of that. No, there are other hidden costs you may not know. Calls, miscellaneous damages. There are other factors that you shouldn't be paying for. If not, if you pay for all those things yourself, you would soon be out of business. So let the customer, quote and unquote, pay for those things, because you are rendering a service, you are rendering a product. Okay, so these are the areas that affect marketing when it comes to pricing. Number one, the cost of production when you want to get the right product. Number two, industry standards. Number three, the earnings, the financial capacity of the target audience. And number four, your profit. If you don't factor this properly, it may affect your marketing eventually. So can you share with me, how does either or any of these points affect you, how you would want to apply it? Let's say I'll be waiting to hear your testimony. See you